All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, all across the globe, welcome to another edition of Power Connections on the Men Let's Talk Network. I am excited about having our wonderful guest today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Brother Wade Younger, for being with us today. How you doing today, sir?
I'm good today. How you doing today, Kevin?
Doing fantastic, man. We're just excited about the technology, excited about you. Hey, guys, for those listening live and later on as well, Mr. Wade Younger, ladies and gentlemen, is an IT consultant. He's also a TEDx speaker. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Congratulations on that. And he's also a thought leader, ladies and gentlemen. But Brother Wade, we always like, because there's so much going on the planet today, man, always like to hear from our guests to say a few words of encouragement, anything you like to say about what people need to be thinking about, or just anything you'd like to say to our audience before we get started, my friend.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. And I agree with you. There's just a ton of things that are happening
Yeah,
today and all simultaneously, you know.
yeah,
But one of the things that I've been encouraging people to do is to have grit, the
yeah,
ability to bounce back and that resiliency. And the more you have grit, the lower, the greater the pain, the higher the bounce.
yeah,
So if we have grit, that helps us to move forward. And it creates a lot of uncertainty. I realize it, change. And everything from the planets on fire to people losing their jobs and this coming out of COVID, are we in COVID? You know, those kinds of things. And then with jobs lost, and that doesn't even include, you know, family and economic situations. So the thing
yeah.
that I'm recommending for people to do is to take a breath, definitely have their trust in God for sure, but
Mm.
recognize that we've been through this before and this too shall pass, but we have to stay strong for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, that key word, ladies and gentlemen, you must have a higher power. And of course, I'm sure Brother Wade would agree. We believe in God. There is a God, folks. You got to understand that there is a God in heaven that has created everything. Everything comes from him. And we believe that. Now, I don't understand everything, Brother Wade, that God does, but we got to trust him. We got to trust him in the process. Just incredible.
Absolutely.
Amen. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Power Connections with my wonderful guest today, Mr. Wade Younger. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be interviewing him today about his awesome self and his network as well. Hey, a little bit about Brother Wade. First of all, he is a tremendous author. I think I counted 10 books, Brother Wade, that you put out there. I love it, man. He's an author of 10 books, guys. And I want you guys to go to his website, guys, too, as well. His website's right there for more details about that. We're not going to go over everything today because we'll be here another couple of hours for sure. But his website, I want you guys to visit the website and share this out as well. He also has some wonderful clients there, guys. He has done a lot of work with, just for example, Best Western, TEDx. He's been talking on TEDx. Boeing, I love it, man. If you got into a Boeing contract, that's pretty cool, man. Panasonic, guys, just to name a few. Wells Fargo, NASA, and Georgia Pacific here in the Georgia state of Georgia, Allstate, and so many more. Like again, go to his website for more details about that. But let's talk a little bit about this awesome man of God here, ladies and gentlemen. Wayne Younger is recognized as one of the foremost authorities on organizational development and process improvement through innovation thinking. I love it. Man, he's gonna help us use our brain today. That's powerful, Wade. That's what's needed more. We gotta use this brain capacity here today, ladies and gentlemen. He is an author of numerous books, as I mentioned earlier, ladies and gentlemen, Insight Publications, CEO of the Value Wave. I love it. Managing partner of the Armstrong Wolf Advisory, WCOOC, ambassador and guest lecturer at Cornell University. I almost went to Cornell, Brother Wade, back in the day. Yeah, that was a possibility there under a basketball scholarship, but luckily I went down to Savannah State.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
made out a great time. Wade
Yeah.
was also delivered more than 2,000 keynotes around the world, addressing audiences of all sizes, ladies and gentlemen. His stories are hypnotic. His methods are about results. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what you want. You want somebody that can give you some results, not just go to an invention and say, that was nice. You got to have some impact, some changes, some things that will help you as well. As a
That's it.
technology solutionist, ladies and gentlemen, disruptive strategist and innovative expert, Wade has developed solutions, managed their implementation, design, methodologies, and executed enterprise deployment plans for many of the leading organizations of our time. Wade uses his experience as a certified IT project manager, PMP, and certified Scrum Master, CSM, to lead challenging projects, ladies and gentlemen. As an acclaimed consultant and trusted advisor, Wade is known for his approaches to difficult leadership issues. Oh man, that's great, man. Often known as Coach. Hey, Coach Wade, I love it, man. As encourage others to become masters of their destiny through the art of achievement and innovative thinking, of thinking. Corporations and participants in his sessions have generated millions of dollars in sales and counting because of his mastery of motivation and his vast business expertise. Wade is currently working on a new book, Think About What You Think About. Love it. Thank you so much, Brother Wade, again, for being with us on Power Connections. Welcome again, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Kevin, a lot.
Hey, oh, thank you so much, man. Hey, Wade, one thing we want to share with people today, first of all, man, we wanted to kind of find out a little bit about your business network. Can you give us a little bit of background about how you got started, and a little background how you got into the technical area, engineering area, IT area? Tell us a little bit more about you, my friend.
Absolutely. So I'm HBCU as well, Norfolk State University, and computer science was my major. I thought I was going to major in communications, playing high school football, college football,
Uh,
but I was nudged a bit into technology, and obviously technology in the early '80s, late '70s, early '80s wasn't what it was today. But I took the advice, and so glad I did, because it
yeah,
was something that was going to evolve. It was actually my 11th grade teacher who
yeah,
encouraged me to go into technology. So I'm glad I did. So I've been in tech for a long time. And then one of my first jobs, I was working for a bank and then an insurance company, and then I was a manager of a small department, IT
mhm.
department, and I worked for a very how should I say? I'll say it, racist boss. And
Right,
he would
right.
go back and forth in regards to lowering who I was. He felt who I was. And one day, it was a Tuesday afternoon,
Hmm.
March 1990, and I said, you know what, I can't take it anymore.
Right.
And I left even though I was in technology, and I went home. I was married at the time with a daughter, and I told my wife at the time, I need to do something myself because
Yeah.
this guy's driving me crazy.
Right.
And then I heard recently in a prayer, someone said that everything that God does comes to fruition. And I said, I
Yeah.
like that word fruition. It was just a rich word. And so I said, that's what I'll name my company, Fruition
Yeah.
Consulting. And
Wow.
so I built on that March 1990. And then I just told everybody that I knew this was well before any social media or the internet, just calling people that I knew. And then it went from just me, myself, and then going into 2006,
Yeah.
I ended up selling the company. And it worked out well. Project management, change management, strategic planning. And I had a lot of people to help me along the way. I need to say
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
because when you're building an enterprise, you can't do it by yourself. When
Nope.
people talk about, their successes or something works out,
Yeah.
very few times it's just you, definitely not. So I had a lot of help with that. And then, but again, in the technology space. And then after that, I started to write and speak on leadership development, workplace morale, how to handle change, because I
Mhm.
recognized, Kevin, as I was looking for and putting
Yeah.
together solutions that were about technology, the real
Right.
problem were the people.
Right.
How do you lead people? How do you get
Right.
them to get along or buy into the vision? So I started to marry organizational development into IT. So that worked out well. So that's when I started the company, the Value Wave, in 2010. And so
Mhm.
I ran that as a boutique, helping like middle-sized companies to move forward with, with their vision in regards
Yeah.
to blockchain, AI, VR type solutions, and that helped out as well. Still in the project space. So that's where I am. And so starting like my goodness in the late 1990s, that's when I started to write. I started
Yeah.
to keep a journal on just what I appreciated because so many things were going right and wrong. And
Yeah.
that those appreciation journals turned into my first book was Tunnels, Bridges, and Ladders, not in print anymore, but it was basically on how I felt change should take place. And
Yeah.
then that's when I started writing and speaking. So that's the background of me.
Yeah. Oh, I love it, man. That's great. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, all across the globe, we're talking to Mr. Wade Younger, ladies and gentlemen, on Power Connections on the Men Let's Talk Network with Kevin Vaughn. We're just excited about him being with us today. Wade, as you know, man, business is definitely evolving as we speak, even as we do this broadcast right now.
Yeah,
So, man,
absolutely,
I tell
absolutely.
you, So I want to go right down the line here. Guys, we're talking to Wade Younger, ladies and gentlemen. He's an IT consultant. He's also a TEDx speaker and also a thought leader, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Wade, we're going to go right down the topics here today. Could you tell us a little about what technology solutions is? Technology solutions. Give us a definition and some background about that area a little bit, sir.
Absolutely. So the big thing you want to keep in mind, whether you are a large enterprise, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, or
Yeah,
just a entrepreneurial effort, the big
yeah,
thing you're trying to do is solve problems. Everybody needs to be first, best, different, faster, cheaper, better. You want to
yeah,
be able to save time, save money, make money, relieve stress, make things easier, and deliver products and services that makes your customers feel safe and certain. So that's what you want to do. But
yeah.
how do you do that? That's
Right.
when the technology is infused
Yeah.
in regards to solving the problem, because
Mhm.
that's the big thing as far as, you garner a customer, and you offer your product or service, but the thing is, what problem are you solving?
Right.
Technology helps that. In this day and age, everything from cybersecurity, edge computing, quantum computing is coming out, blockchain. We used
Yeah.
to talk, a lot about Bitcoin, things of that nature that fizzled after the hype, the pump, and the dump, if you will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
AI is here. And AI has been around since 1954. It was first introduced,
Wow.
but it's really has had its heyday. Um, in the media now because of open AI. But the
Mhm.
reality is there has been a large variety of artificial intelligence solutions. But right now, the reason why it's so popular is because it is a general purpose
Right.
solution. It's going to
Yeah.
help you get better. Even for you, Kevin, as you disseminate information,
Yeah.
it helps you look at your listeners. How long are they listening? What are
Right.
they peaking at? Things of that nature. So it helps us to really think about what we've been thinking about.
Yeah.
So, and with that being said, in order to be successful in technology, and I'm saying not just AI, because there's just a lot of other things to consider,
Yeah.
keep in mind is how do you recognize how to solve a problem?
Hmm.
And not only that, how do you communicate where people understand and appreciate what you're doing? How do you get people to care about what you're
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
So that's where we are now. I can definitely go into a rabbit hole of implementation because, like earlier today, I had a conversation with a client in regards to AWS, which is an Amazon's
Mhm.
web services.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so basically, people are moving away from AWS, even though
Right.
Amazon's huge, and the reason why is because of costs. So
Mhm.
the conversation was how was something that was so popular and everybody gravitating toward is moving from it, because then Amazon had some layoffs last year. So we got a chance to talk about that. But the key point
Yeah.
is you're able to do two things. You're always increasing productivity
Yeah.
and revenue, and you're decreasing cost and waste at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's what
Yeah.
the value wave is about. You want to do two things. So again, when it comes to technology, recognize what the solutions are, and then
Hmm.
use tech to happen that, because it could be anything. We had the same conversation in the mid 80s into the 90s about the internet. I mean, it's like, what
Yeah.
is the
Right.
internet? What is the
Yeah.
internet? What is AOL? It's like, what are we gonna do? And I remember
Right.
having a conversation. It's like, it's what's important and what's exciting is what the internet will do next. And my
Right.
goodness, the next month, Kevin, next month the internet will be in existence for 41 years
Wow. Isn't that
with a
crazy?
lot of data. So with that being said,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of it's not just the technology, which is important, so important,
Right.
but it's recognizing problems and
Mhm.
working out solutions for execution.
Oh, I love it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, all across the globe, this is Power Connections with my special guest today, IT specialist, ladies and gentlemen, author, speaker, Mr. Wade Younger. We are excited. Guys, I want you to pay attention. And later on in the broadcast, Wade, we're going to talk to our young people too about some strategies about the future, because they need to understand where things are going and not just be jumping in without a plan today. You've got to
Right,
have a
right,
plan.
right.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I love it. So thank you so much. So that's powerful. Technology solutions. Hey, Wade, talk to us a little bit about, oh man, this is a big word for me. I love it. Disruptive, man, disruptive strategist. You got to be a disruptive person, ladies and gentlemen out there. You better start using this wonderful brain the Lord has given you. Give us an overview of the disruptive strategist, brother Wade. That's powerful, bro. I like that.
You do. I'm glad that you picked up on that. On LinkedIn, every
Woo.
once a week, I put out a post on failure. It's called Failure to Disrupt,
Yeah,
and it's basically about companies who
yeah,
just were thriving, existed, and made a lot of money, like a Radio Shack,
right,
or and they just no longer exist today. What
right.
happened? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
and I've done a lot of research over the years in regards to, while success always leave clues, there's
Right.
always a plethora of, post-mortem clues as
Yeah,
well, as far as what failure is about. So as far as disruption is concerned, that, my friend, is about mindset. It's always
yeah,
about mindset.
yeah,
If you're able to, and it takes work, because it's not just going to come to us. There was that old story of in the 1940s, Lana Turner, the famous actress who said she was discovered in some soda shop or
yeah,
something. And
yeah.
people love to believe that they can just sit and be
Right,
discovered. That
right.
is such a fallacy. It takes work.
Yes, it
So
does.
the disruptive mindset that I, purport to my customers, and when I say customers, my paying customers, because they pay for a
Yeah,
solution, is
yeah,
recognizing what your big idea is, and then paying attention to the market, and then what people want. Because you can have a great solution, but do
yeah,
people really want it? Like TiVo. TiVo was like recording recording shows, but people didn't want TiVo at the time because we are coming off of VCRs. Why not?
yeah,
But we recognize Blockbuster music. Another example, we love blockbusters. What a
yeah,
destination on Friday after work. You
yeah,
go out, Chinese food and videos.
yeah.
But they had an opportunity to go to streaming, and Netflix tried to buy them twice
Right,
for millions, billions of dollars. They said, no, we're fine. And look what
right,
happened. So that's a great example of not willing to move. So how
right.
does that happen? What does that look like? I'm going to go back, Kevin, for just a second
Yeah,
to 1849, the gold rush of 1849. People are familiar with it, when 300,000 people migrated
yep.
to, which is now we call California. It was
Yes, sir.
just called an area, but they named it California in the 1950s, the 1850s, because of that gold rush. But the interesting thing about that was, not everybody that moved from out of the country or from the East Coast to the West Coast, a lot of people didn't get rich because of the gold rush.
That's
Who
right.
who became grow who got became rich were those who recognized the opportunity, the
Yeah,
temporary opportunity, for what it was, because the
yeah,
gold rush only lasted 6 years.
right.
And just 75 years after that, it was the Great Depression, 1929. So it
Yeah,
was never a complete and permanent solution. So where I'm getting at, there was a guy by the name of Samuel Brennan, and Samuel saw the need for this, and he never looked at it as a permanent solution. Now, he was way ahead of his time. He started a newspaper in San Francisco. I think it was called the California Star. And he started to tell people about this gold rush. And then at the same time, check this out. He went and bought up all the shovels, the
yeah.
picks, the wheelbarrows, all the
There
tools
you go.
needed to dig gold. So
Yeah,
when people got there, it's like, well, we need tools. Guess what they go to? They
yep,
go to Samuel. So
yep.
Samuel's now a millionaire, and people are having these tools, and they
Right,
made some money, but he
right,
had that disruptive mindset. So the disruptive mindset is
yeah,
looking beyond the moment. So
right.
there's obviously a lot of talk about, chat GBT, AI, and there will be others.
Yeah,
There will be other solutions, but it's a matter of what the data will do for us. So the
right.
point is not concentrating on the now. It's
Yeah,
concentrating on the next play, the next day, and what's going to happen in the future. That also
well,
helps us with our stress, because people get so involved in, man, it's
yeah,
such a stressful time now. Yes, it is. However, what is to come in the near future? That's the key that will help us to relax. So disruption has to do with
yeah,
a mindset,
yeah.
again, keeping a vision and then executing on that. And it might be outside of the box where, will people really
Right,
want this solution,
right.
or not? Well, that's what the disruption is all about.
Oh, I love it, man. Ladies and gentlemen, all across the planet here, we're here on Power Connections with Mr. Wade Younger, ladies and IT specialist, author, ladies and gentlemen, and speaker, as you can hear there as well. You know, Wade, one thing that triggered, man, with disruption, you got to think. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, you got to think. And guess what, Brother Wade? I know you know this, but folks, you cannot be restricted in your thinking. That's the one thing in
Mhm.
disruptiveness. You never know. Because we go back to what I missed the car thing, right? The car. Nobody would have thought horses, right? Horses would have been replaced with cars, right? that type of thing, for
Yeah.
example, and so many
Mhm.
more. How about the cell phone? I missed that totally, Mr. Wade, on investing on that one. The phone itself that we all
Right.
carry around today. So, ladies and
Mhm.
gentlemen, disruptiveness requires you to think. So please do not be restrictive in your thinking. There's nothing really impossible for you to do. We're talking about the positive things, of course, of life that you can do. So we're talking to our young people, or anybody really right now, our young people, old people, seniors that are active. There's nothing you can't do. So just don't say my idea is not a good idea. It may be a great idea. So pursue that. So I love that. So be disruptive, guys. That's what Brother Wade is sharing with us today. Brother Wade, I love this other area that you are also teaching and helping us with is innovation, being an innovation expert as well. What's that all about, sir?
Good question there. So going back to thought just a second,
Yeah,
and as we're given information, and thinking is not just about filling a mind with information,
yeah,
or we're teaching is more or less opening the mind so
yeah.
new information can be conceived. Because here's the thing, every day we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts. Every day, 60 to 80,000 thoughts. But
Wow.
here's the thing, only 90% of those thoughts are about the past. So most of the time when we get up in the morning, if you pay attention to your routine,
Yeah, yeah.
you might want to grab the phone and look at your Facebook or your LinkedIn or your
Right.
WhatsApp. And what that does is it's introducing so many people into your world first thing in the morning. And reality is, and when you wake up in the morning, how, how likely is it that you will invite 100 and 150 people into your bedroom when you wake up in the morning? Not likely at all. So if we won't do that physically, why would we do that mentally? So it's
Right.
important when we get up in the morning is we stay cleansed, because going into thought just a minute,
Yeah.
when we're going to sleep at night, right before we go to sleep, our brain is into what's called an alpha state. And alpha is when we're most susceptible to learning because we're a little bit tired. So
Right.
those negative filters aren't fighting against new information. So it's
Right.
if you're going to do something at night, it's not the TV unless it's really educational, but reading, meditation, prayer, those are the good things to do right before you go to sleep. And then after that alpha state, you go into what's called a delta state. And delta,
Hmm.
it's deep sleep, the REM. And what you're doing is you're actually reprogramming yourself into the next day. How many times you've waken up in a bad mood because you went to sleep in a bad mood? But if you go to
Right.
sleep in a good mood, most of the time you
Yeah.
wake up in a good
Yeah.
mood.
Exactly.
So the thing is, the alpha state before you go to sleep is the time to program. Delta does the actual programming for you, and you wake back up in the alpha state for a little while. And that's why it's important not to just to take some time to settle down, be
Yeah.
quiet before you get into social media or TV and news. And then after that, you get into what's called a beta state. And beta is basically the execution piece of the brain when we're learning, we're thinking, we're working, we're driving. And then beta does what we have learned to do. The thing that we want to get into is more of a gamma state. And gamma is a euphoric state where we really enjoy what we're doing. We've seen athletes, you're an athlete, you see people have gotten into the zone. I
Hmm.
remember, man, June 1993. It was a Wednesday. Michael Jordan hits 35 points in one quarter against the Portland Trailblazers. You remember he could not miss.
Oh,
So he was in the zone, and we've
yeah.
seen that. We've seen that from many athletes. But
Yeah.
he at that point, Jordan is in a theta state where the brain
Right.
is just completely wired to I'm
Right.
enjoying this. I can't miss. We can get into a theta state every day. We really
Right.
can. So
Yeah.
that's why this work I'm doing on thinking about what you think about is so important. And this
Yeah.
helps us to rewire ourselves to upgrade because we talk about our phones being upgraded, the cars are being upgraded. We can
Yeah.
also upgrade ourselves, and that goes into the pineal gland, which is another conversation about the brain. But the thing is, it's possible, Kevin. It's possible with some work and some intentional thought process in regards to thinking. So when it comes to innovation, it's also a matter of a culture of
Yeah.
creativity and being able to fail and also being a life learner. Because
Yeah.
I go back to Blockbuster. I can go back to Panasonic client. I can go to Kodak.
Hmm.
Made a lot of money, thrived, existed. Kmart, they longer exist today because
Yeah.
they stopped doing what was possible. So
Right.
the disruption and the innovation comes from three
Yeah.
areas. Number one, your vision of what's coming up next for your customer, if that's what it's about. Number
Right.
two, executing on some creative plan and sticking with
Mhm.
it. And then number three, continuing that process of self-improvement, process improvement, and that moves us forward. Those are the things that helps us solve problems, not only for ourselves, but for our customers, because I'm sure a lot of us are entrepreneurs are trying to serve somebody from a product or service perspective.
Yeah, this is key right here, Wade. What you're talking about is very, very key. And you may or may not get this at the higher learning levels at college or universities around the country or around the world for that matter. Ladies and gentlemen, you're getting really, what do you call it? Brother Wade, we're actually getting a class right now. You're getting a master class from Brother Wade right now in this area. You know, Wade, I was taking some notes here as you was talking to you before we continue here. Can you please share with the audience how important analytics and data today is? You've got to understand how to use data and how to interpret data, how to read data. Can you please talk about that specifically for our leaders that are CEOs, presidents, innovators, inventors, so they know what direction to kind of go with their idea? Can you please talk about that? So important.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. Data is everything. Data
Yeah,
tells the story in
yeah,
every form or fashion. As
yeah,
I mentioned there earlier, the internet's been in existence for 40 years,
yeah,
41 years next month.
yeah,
But we think about, well, what's on the internet? You have websites, books, movies, dissertations,
yeah,
videos, blogs, and that's all data, and it's all telling the
yeah,
story.
yeah,
um, being a data scientist is so important in our day and age,
yeah.
because it's a matter of gathering information to look at it in regards to what do you want to extrapolate from it. Think about ourselves as individuals, and you can take that and project it outward. Everything that we know and do from a task perspective is based on what we know: how to tie
Hmm.
our shoe, how to drive a car, how to cook. And that's basically task. And tasks are basically what? It's data. So when it comes to technology, because that's my space, it's a matter of recognizing what data do you have collectively
Yeah,
in the world, from the Gutenberg printer back in the
yeah,
1500s to today,
yeah,
to data that you have about your customer, very specific data that you have about your company. So the ability to look at that information, and have tools to gather it, disseminate it is everything. That's where we can learn from it, we can predict from it, we can understand it, because that's the thing, understanding analytics and data, that will differentiate us from the next person. Because here's the thing, when it comes to AI, it used to be a person can come in, and the person that gets the promotion and hired in the promotion, that they know everything, so to speak. But
right.
today, because of AI, it's about understanding how to ask the right questions, because
Yeah,
that data, it's everywhere. It's
yeah,
everywhere. Think about it for just a second.
yeah,
During the time of slavery, one
right.
of the things they didn't want slaves to learn how to do is what?
Read.
You got it. Read, which is all about data. They didn't want them to have data, because
Nope.
once they recognized, hey, it's more of us than them, and I can just do what and learn what.
Right,
So it
right.
was all about data. So as long as data was resisted and
Yeah,
hidden,
right.
you got them. So the same thing today. There is completely democratized. There is no protective moat around the
Mm,
data that's here. So that's why
right,
it's so important,
right.
because it always tells a story.
That's powerful. I love it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Power Connections with Mr. Wade Younger. Ladies and gentlemen, he's an IT specialist. He's an author and speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, powerful man. Here we're talking about your future, guys. We're talking about our future and your future as well. On top of that, as you was talking to Wade, I was thinking about our future here a little bit. We need to talk about the future of business from your perspective, as it relates to entrepreneurs. As you know, there's about 4 million people said, "I'm not going back to work." After COVID hit, they said, I'm tired of this. I got to do something else. And they, like you, they did some other things. So can you talk about the future of business from your perspective? And I'm going to ask you some other questions about careers, business startups you would recommend, and also for those who are in school or going to school or thinking about school, some degree areas that they need to consider. But first, Wade, let's talk about the future of business, man. What do you see where things are going?
The future of business. The future of business, it is as bright as you would like it to be.
Yeah.
But you have to recognize that everything is temporary. It's an ebb and flow to everything.
Yeah.
80% of jobs that exist today, 80% of jobs that exist today did not exist in the 1960s.
Wow.
And yeah, and the thing is, and I don't know about you. I was born in the 1960s, but
Yeah. Same
you
here.
just think about most of the things that are happening now didn't exist. So we
Right.
can totally expect the same thing moving forward. The shelf life of jobs
Hmm.
it used to be 10 years and then it went to 5 years. Right
Right.
now, the shelf life of technology jobs are down to 2.5 years. So
Wow.
what you have to get used to doing is
Yeah.
changing and learning. It's nothing
Right.
personal. It's just a
Right.
matter of
Right.
being able to take it in, use it to the best of your
Hmm.
ability, and be looking out for somebody else is thinking another solution, and you move forward from there. It's interesting, man. I didn't. I wish I did. When
Yeah.
Zoom came out,
I
who
know.
knew
I
that?
know.
Man,
I,
if I wish, but
I
who
know. I know.
I know, right?
I didn't even figure it out. I understood the technology, but didn't figure out the benefits of it, long term.
Right. I
Yeah.
remember. So, and it was a small window. It's like maybe I should dive
Yeah.
into this. And I did Moderna, by the way, because when that was coming up.
Yeah.
But right before in 2020, still
Yeah.
mid 2020 was still a good time for Zoom to
Oh,
invest because it went
yeah.
up and then it petered out because I
Right.
mean other solutions. So it's going to
Right.
be like that. It's going to be like that. So the future of business is as bright as you like it to be.
Right.
And what I mean by that is recognize the temporary nature of it,
Yeah.
uh, be strong and smart within your space.
Yeah.
And again, we will continue to have general purpose technologies like AI, and we
Yeah.
can AI is analogous to electricity. Well, how can you use electricity? You can use electricity for everything. It's used
Yeah.
for everything.
Exactly.
So the same thing for anything. So it's not about the tool, it's about what you're using, what your solution is. So
Hmm.
I have that to say. Now, as far as young people are concerned,
Yeah.
and having these conversations, it's like what should we do
Right.
as
Yeah.
young people? What should be the next move as
Yeah.
far as is it technology? Is it human services? Is it communications? What should it be?
Hmm.
Um, and my answer really, not to be nebulous, but it's all of the above. Because
Right.
here's
Right.
the thing: what makes economies move? It's
Hmm.
always the buy, the sell, the supply and demand. So
Yeah.
there'll always
Yeah.
be a supply as long as there is demand. And you can create a demand. You can
Right.
just create a demand. I'm going to give you another example. I was talking about the 1800s
Yeah.
earlier. I'm going to go back to that, for example.
Yeah.
There was a person of Asian descent, and they called him John John. And the reason why his name was John John, individuals with Oriental names, it was hard to pronounce because they didn't put
Right.
forth an
Right.
effort. So they just called him John. So John John had this idea. And his idea was, I will wash everyone's clothes free of charge. And they said,
Wow.
well, why John John? He says, this is what I'll do. So known he was known locally as the person that will launder
Right.
your clothes for free. And no one
Yeah.
understood why, but it was free. It was like, as the slogan goes, if it's three, give me three. So,
Yeah.
so people would do that. And after a while, John John disappeared. Couldn't find him. And but later on, he was found wealthy in a neighboring town. What he was really doing, Kevin, is he recognized that these gold diggers had
Yeah.
gold on in their shirts, in their cuffs, in their pants,
Oh,
in their
wow.
jackets. So as
Wow.
he was washing his clothes, he was mining people's
Oh,
hearts
really? Oh,
versus
wow.
remember, wealthy, wealthy.
Brilliant.
That's an
Brilliant.
innovative mindset. So the
Yeah.
thing is, you can look at from a cosmetic perspective or
Yeah.
whatever, but whatever that is, you can have a great business plan, a marketing plan, and then execute on it.
Yeah.
As long as there are people, there'll always be markets. But just make
Wow.
sure it's something that people want. If you can figure that out, you'll never go hungry.
Oh, that's great. I love it, man. The wisdom here, guys, today. I hope you guys are enjoying this out there on the network here. Hey, we're talking to Mr. Wade Younger, ladies and gentlemen, author, speaker, and IT consultant. Wade, I wanted to continue here real quickly. We got about 15 more minutes or so of your time today. Thank you so much. Let's talk about, because I'm always concerned about our young people. I think you and I had great people growing up to help us and steer us towards engineering and different areas. And man, I love my math teacher in college, excuse me, in high school, steered me toward engineering. And today I still thank her, man, when I see her and talk to her. I thank her so much for that. She helped me tremendously to be able to take care of my family and myself. Just amazing. So let's talk about, because I want our young people, because they need a lot of help. As you know, our school system in our nation specifically is not helping our young people really where they should in careers. So can you talk about some career areas you think that we need to consider? Specifically talk about our young people need to consider, or anybody for that matter, if they want to go back and learn, learn a trade or a craft, or go back to school. It's really not just for the young people, but any top careers you would recommend people start looking at.
Absolutely. So what I recommend, just sheerly for careers are concerned, healthcare. Anything in healthcare is
Yeah,
good. Technology in healthcare is really good. Humana is actually one of my clients to spend a lot of time with. So there. The financial institutions are still vibrant, and not just taking the entry level job, yes,
right.
but recognizing economics. I think if anybody is at least minoring in economics, have a heads up for sure, because
Yeah.
economics helps us to move forward. Another area that people don't pay attention to is transportation. Now,
Uh,
transportation for a long time didn't seem sexy until
right. Right.
Uber came about, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this
Yeah.
is this is interesting. So just because
Disruptive for sure. That was disruptive, Wade.
absolutely,
Didn't see that.
absolutely.
I didn't see
So
that opportunity either. Whew.
right, exactly. There was a company in because I work with a lot of people in the UK and travel there. There was a
Yeah.
company called Blah Blah, Blah Blah, and Blah did it was an app, and if you had to take a trip from point A to point B, and you didn't want to take it yourself, and you want to do some
Yeah.
ride sharing, and you could have you go to the app and it's one blah if you don't talk a lot, two blahs talk a little bit, three or four blahs, and it's basically you find somebody that you're compatible with,
Right.
millions of dollars worth of that solution. So again, transportation is big. One more thing, two more things.
Yeah.
Personalization. If you can take any industry and learn how to personalize it, you move forward from there. Here's a point. If using Netflix for an example, so you go to Netflix, and we'll
Mhm.
just use one because a lot of it works like this, or Spotify, and you go in and say we're gonna recommend a particular song
Yeah.
based on your buying habits, right?
Right.
And that's
Right.
that's all about customization, and subconsciously, and we
Right.
know Netflix don't know who they are, but they are who we are, but they pay attention to what our likes and dislikes are
Yeah.
about. So it's about personalization. So anything that you can do as far as personalizing to a particular group is big. I mean,
Right.
here's a couple more areas. Cybersecurity is huge.
Yeah.
And while it seems to be that education is one that's low dollar, it's a matter of specialized
Yeah.
education, because people are still paying for
Right.
education. So those are the areas that I would recommend um, for talent, because those are the things that have helped me. I'm not just talking about something that I read. Those are the
Right.
things that you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Thank you so much, Wade. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, hope you all taking some notes today. Hey, Wade, I want to do a commercial break, man, because I want people to contact you for speaking engagements to be on their platforms as well. I know you probably are pretty busy in that area already, but I want those who listen to this network to contact Wade to be on their shows, whether it's a podcast, guys, streaming service, panel discussions, whatever. But Wade, let's tell people how to get in touch with you, my friend.
Absolutely. So I would say the first is my website, wadeyounger.com. And just I have an area to put in your information so we can
Yeah,
connect and have some conversations in regards to what you're thinking about, what your pain points are, what you want to accomplish.
yeah,
As far as an event is concerned, love to come out and talk about what we want to do there, and I'll definitely do a nice job for you there. And then in the meantime, it's just from a pedestrian perspective, LinkedIn.
yeah,
Just I'm on LinkedIn, and so
yeah,
we can connect there where you can see my articles. I've talked about failure to disrupt. On Mondays, I have Think About What You Think About, which are actually excerpts from my book, Think About What You Think About. And then on Wednesdays, starting the first of the year, I'm doing some excerpts in regards to innovation
Yeah.
and mostly on AI.
Hey, man, I love it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, please understand that the future demands change. Okay, it demands change. That's just what future does, and we got to be able to get ahead of it. Matter of fact, you most likely can almost think about. You think about it, you can almost anticipate what's the next opportunity for you if you really get the
Absolutely, absolutely.
that powerful. Yeah, you talk to a Wade Younger, and you start thinking, oh, okay, this may be popping up here a little soon. I need to do something about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, just look at the trends, if you will. In fact, that's one of my favorite words too. Can you talk about trends data, if you don't mind, for a little while? What trend data is all about?
Yeah, so yeah, actually, so important there. So, as far as the keynote is concerned, that's one of my most
Yeah,
favorite talks to give because
yeah,
they are never the same because the trends are always
yeah,
changing.
yeah,
And the thing is, whether they come to fruition or not, they're always interesting.
yeah,
So in regards to trends are concerned, what are they right now? I'm
yeah.
going to give you an old story to help you with going forward. In the 1400s, we always knew that we talk about the Roman army and how the
Yeah,
sun never sets on Rome, right? And it's
yeah,
like
right,
no one was able to tear down or take down the Roman army. And
right.
then, because obviously you can see, I'm a history buff. So one of the things that was a deterrent for that society was
Mhm.
the fact that they got really complacent. It's like we've been kicking
Yeah, yeah,
years. It's like
yeah,
come up with something new, because they had
right,
these tremendous walls. Well,
right.
there was a person that came about. His name was Orban, and it was called the Orban Cannon. And Orban
Mm.
Cannon, at the time, was able to shoot 1 mile away. Now it's like a mile. That's nothing. I
Wow,
mean, we can shoot missiles all across the globe, but it
wow.
was able to stand back from the wall and to from the Roman wall and to shoot cannons from a mile away. Now, to if you're walking a mile, that takes an hour. If you're running a mile with equipment, it might take longer. So
Yeah,
they would just get in May. I would say it's May 29th. And they were getting pelted for days by these cannons from a mile away,
yeah.
and they could never get close enough to stop them. And
Nope.
the point I want to mention there is that was an innovation, a very disruptive innovation that tore down a complete society.
Right,
This is how the Roman Empire was struck down by a cannon, an
right.
innovation that nobody paid attention to. My
Wow.
point is this: that wasn't a trend yet, but right after that, you better believe those cannons became a trend. So where do trends come from? It becomes from a pain point that needs to be satisfied, and we
Hmm.
can look for them or we can start them. So that's where we are. So in regards to what's trending today, personalization, obviously all things AI, edge computing, and again, I'm speaking in technology space as
Yeah,
far as what's going on in the electric car space that is moving forward.
yeah,
But as far as other
yeah.
things like I don't know. I only speak what I do know, right? So
Right.
that's what I end up liking to talk about is trends and what's moving us forward because that's forever changing. How do you pay attention to it? Easy
Yeah.
enough.
Uh,
Just continue to Google and research and find out what's happening. And of course, there's some paid services that I pay for to get,
right.
but it's important just to take a little time to see what's happening, and then we move forward from there.
Oh, I love it, man. Thank you so much, Mr. Younger. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Power Connections with Mr. Wade Younger, ladies and gentlemen, IT specialist. He's also an author, ladies and gentlemen, and also a powerful speaker. And also, he's a what they call a thought provoker, if you will, also a strategist in thought as well. I thank you so much for that because we are trying to encourage people to do this more and more each and every day. We don't want you to be complacent, folks. We want you to be a disruptor because there's things that can change your life and others' lives in a positive manner. Brother Young, I want to give you some final thoughts here. I want to, first of all, have you talk to the young people. Please, whatever you want to say to our young people today, I know they need a little help. Also, too, folks, you can't do it by yourself, so you're going to need some help out there. So, Brother Wade Younger is here to help you. I'm here to help you any way we can. But, Brother Young, if you would talk to our young people any way you want, and then have some final thoughts before we wind up. Thank you.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Well, one of the things that I want to mention as far as our young people is this, is that you're cared about, and it might not seem like it, but you are. Because obviously, when we say young people of the future, you
Yeah,
literally are the future.
yeah,
And the reason why we say that is just, I'm going to use work for an example. There are 5 generations in the workplace right now working, and they can't do it forever because of just time,
Right.
resources. They just can't. But one of the things that it was Ti. It was Ti who said this. Is interesting. He said that the young people
Yeah.
who listen to the older people
Right.
differentiate themselves.
Right.
So it's important to listen to wisdom. But check it out. He says the older people who
Hmm.
listen to young people differentiates themselves too because they stay current. So it's
Right.
important that we're all listening to each other as far as
Yeah.
needs are
Okay.
concerned. We all have something to contribute, and that is just that is so important
Yeah.
because people of your own ilk or that own same generation, you're all living the same experiences at the same time.
Yeah.
There's you don't know, but we've experienced so much into the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the
Yeah.
2000s, and now. So it's like and the thing is, all we want to do is help. So number one, lend a listening ear
Right.
to the older ones who want to help, and there are many because we work with the willing. That's the thing, we work with the willing. If you're not willing, then that, what's the point? So we have to be there. Number two is this: because we live in a microwave society and time, you may
Yes.
feel like that you don't have time or you ran out of time. And that is so not the truth. It
Right.
is so not
Right.
the truth. Satan wanted, people, you're not out of town, out of time. You're not
Right.
out of time. You're not out of time. It's
Nope.
important to act, but you're not out of time. One of the examples that I use, and this is one of my books, The Jericho Rose, um, is this. And the Jericho Rose is an interesting being because it's also called the resurrection plane. And a
Mhm.
Jericho Rose, it's not an attractive plant at all, but it actually can live without water for months, sometimes
Mm.
years. But
Wow.
as soon as it hits some type of moisture, in a matter of hours, it returns to a green state and blossoms after
Wow.
being dead for months
Wow.
and years.
That's something.
I'm gonna tell you this: our
Mm.
Creator did not put that plant on this earth just for it to die and live. It
Right.
was a lesson for us. And the
Right.
lesson is even when you feel dead, there is a moisture
Whew.
that can take place that can bring you back to
Wow.
life.
Yeah.
And so it's a matter of please pay attention. Please, the advice given, use that. You do have time,
Yeah.
and the older people that care, we do work with the willing.
Amen. I love it. That's powerful. And young people, you got to reach out. Now, you got to reach out. We can't read your mind. That's one technology not here yet, but it's coming, I guess, one day, Brother Wade, where we can read people's mind, but we ain't into that right now. But you got to, young people, you got to help us. You got to let us know, hey, I need some help. I wrote down while Brother Wade was talking, I wrote down for the young people out there and for anybody else, you got to always be learning. Please always be learning, always be reading, always be getting information. And a lot of this stuff you can Google. Come on, people, there's so much stuff on Google. You can get your PhD in one area, probably in most cases, if you wanted to, for sure. And last but not least, guys, ask a lot of questions. I think Brother Wade talked about that earlier. Ask questions, folks. Ask questions. If you don't know, ask somebody that is qualified to tell you. That's why I want you guys to go to the website, guys. I want you to go to wadeyounger.com for more information. I want you guys to follow him on LinkedIn as well. There's his name right there. Follow him on LinkedIn. Ask questions, ask information about how you can get in touch with him, how you can bring him on your program as well to talk about the topics in these areas, folks, as well. Please share this out as well as we talk about these areas for our young people and for us. I'm learning so much today from Brother Wade myself, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for your time today. Brother Wade, any final thoughts, my friend, before we got about 3 more minutes? Any final thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, I had one more thing I wanted to mention, Kevin, and that
Yeah.
was when it comes, we talked about technology and
Yeah.
thinking and young people and
Yeah.
trending. And people will continue, just a final thought, that people will continue to invent and will
Yeah.
continue to see new things. And
Yeah.
that's great. But
Yeah.
never feel like you can't be next. You can be next.
Right.
And just so keep that in mind because social media everybody puts their best, shiniest self out there,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I'm failing.
Yeah.
Don't buy into that. That's just
Uh,
so that's not even real. But
right. Right.
recognize those who are really executing. You can do it. One of the final stories I have is Roger Bannister in the 19. Roger Bannister was the first person who ran the 4 minute mile. And
Mhm.
since the Olympic Games, the 4 minute mile was being was my
Yeah.
4th mile was being, timed. But it was
Right.
not until 1955, 54, something like that. But my
Yeah.
point is, he finally did it. But check it out. It was a matter of less than a month. It was broke again and again and again. And then since then, 1,800 people have broken the 4-minute mile. My point is
Wow.
this. The point is this.
Mm.
Don't pay so much attention on what other people are doing.
Right.
Execute on what you're doing. Ride your best ride.
Yeah.
Run your best race. I promise you'll be happy. God first, though.
Oh, that's powerful. That is so powerful. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Power Connections. You can see by why Mr. Wade Younger is a power connector today, ladies and gentlemen. He's on the network today. This is part of the Men Let's Talk Network. It's a family network, guys, so don't get that confused. It's not just for the men, it's for everybody out there. So we're so glad that you guys are with us today, hearing from Brother Wade Younger. He is an IT consultant specialist, ladies and gentlemen. He's an awesome author, ladies and gentlemen. Got about 10 books out there for us. He's got a wonderful speaking network as well. And ladies and gentlemen, his website is here, right there. I want you guys to go to his website right now, share that out, learn more about him. And also, guys, for those who have platforms for media, panel discussions, roundtables, whatever, give him a holler, guys. He's going to be able to help your organization, your group, and your association. How about this? Even help your employees as well move to the next level, ladies and gentlemen. So we're so excited about that. Just very, very excited for you being here with us today. Well, Brother Wade, man, we got to have you back again on 2024. So I can't wait for you to join us again. But know that you're welcome, man. Anything you got going on, new book release, whatever, man, you're here. You can come on back on the network, man, without a doubt. No doubt about it.
Kevin Vaughn, I appreciate you very much. Thank you for your time, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to have a great, it's the holiday season. I want you to be encouraged today. And we thank you so much for your time today as well. Again, share this out. Hey, we're going to leave you with this real quickly. Remember to always out-love, out-serve, and out-forgive each other. And remember, Jesus is Lord, ladies and gentlemen. And if you got any problems with that, you can call me directly. I'll be glad to share some things with you in that area. God bless you. Hey, Brother Wade, please give love to your family, man. And thank you so much for your time today.
You too, sir. Thank you. Have a good one.
Amen. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Power Connections with Kevin Vaughn and my special guest, Brother Wade Younger, ladies and gentlemen. There's this website up there. You guys go to that and share that out. And we appreciate you so much. Have a great day, guys. And thank you so much for your time. Once again, you guys share this out. Thank you now. Bye-bye.